Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk a little bit about AI and how I'm navigating through the world of it and how I'm adding it to my arsenal as far as editing goes. I think there's a lot of positives and negatives coming from the space, and I'm trying to like block out all the noise and just say, hey, how can I utilize this tool? How can this make me more efficient? So I don't want to shut it out. I don't want to just be stubborn and say, hey, that's not art. It's not being created by this, that, X, Y, Z, the other. It's just how can this tool be utilized to take my game up to another level? I don't think it needs to be done on every single image. I don't think it needs to only always be done. I think there's spaces where it works better in. I think there's spaces where it doesn't work better in. But overall, I think it's just something that it's kind of like, that muscle needs to be exercised a little bit. And I think even if you come off of it and you're like, hey, that was cool and I'm bored of it, or I don't really want to have that in my art, I do think it helps, channel a different part of your brain that like unlocks some more creativity, being able to get some of these things off your mind, even if you look at it as like kind of a storyboard or a mood board of just like trying to get a concept out and then taking that as a blueprint and going to trying to execute it all in camera and Photoshop. But that's perfectly fine too, and this can help us get to kind of a rough draft, or if you want to just roll with it, you can roll with it. I do think it's a little, it obviously there's still that, you know nobody's creating it sort of deal. It's just words creating it, which is weird. So I think I personally am enjoying AI the most when I'm compositing it with actual photographs. So that's where I've kind of been mentally with the space. So today is not, I know some of you guys have seen my breakdown videos where I go down and I break layer by layer. I will be showing you know, behind my layers here and showing you what I started with and where we got. But it's going to be much more of a glaze over on each image, more so just talking about like how cool it is that you can kind of do this. Now, one thing I will say is the problem for me with AI is you got to know if the clientele that you're giving it to is intending to print or something, because the AI, so this image here is partly AI, and the background's created with Midjourney, and the resolutions that are coming outside of Midjourney are terrible. They are very, very bad. Yes, you can upscale it, and I know there's third-party upscalers, but then you're talking about adding another monthly fee to the whole game. The price that we're paying a month for these services really starts to tack on when every single thing is starting to go subscription based, basically. So I'm very excited that generative fill, if you don't know what that is, it's like in Photoshop you get this little generative fill up here, and you can click that and type in like a goose, and you hit generate, and AI will do its thing through Photoshop and add a goose up there or something. It's not that good, but I am glad to see that it's getting added in. There's a beautiful goose. Look at that. My God. So I'm glad that Photoshop is acknowledging it and adding it in, and I don't even mind if it tightens up and we start having to pay like $60-$70 a month for the service. Okay, whatever. I really would love to be all in one software working on this stuff, me personally. um but little side note, look at that. It did pick up where the light was coming from, which is really cool. um but anyways, so yeah, and you get like three little gooses. Look at, I mean, this is what I mean though, like it's Photoshop's AI is just not there yet. But it's cool. It'll get there. I'm confident that they'll either buy somebody out or they'll put the tools in to really make it a crazy tool. But regardless, so yeah, the resolutions coming outside of Midjourney aren't big. Now in Lightroom, you can do an enhanced file, and that will give you about a 2,500 to 3,000 pixel wide file, I believe, which is a little bit better, but it's just really not ideal for printing. But you know, nowadays not a lot of people print, so I guess it's really not that big of a deal. Everybody just wants it for Instagram or a website or something. So, um, you know, it's kind of like know what you plan on using it for, basically. But so what I'm doing is I'm going through some old files and I'm seeing how I can build these new worlds with AI and add them to my photos basically. So I'm going to click this layer off, and it's going to show you the raw image, which was that. Now, I absolutely love this image, and I will show you the final of this image. There was nothing wrong with this image. I mean, it was, perfectly fine, but I just wanted to see where else we could go with it. But that was the final image that I took probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So then I did a bunch of these layers, and you can see I'll just start clicking them on. So you can see here that I'm getting ready for the color shift to be up in the clouds. And then the lines come out. Now this is one of the first AI images right here. So I told it to, I went into Midjourney and I said, create me a sky where I'm above the clouds, blah, blah, blah. Photo, type in all this stuff, to get AI to play nicely. You got to kind of talk like a robot. So I got it to give me a standard image. I tried to tell it that I wanted the sun in the front part of the image. You could still see that I had a lot of cleaning up to do if I zoom in here. But yeah, so then that wasn't perfect, but I knew that I wanted to. Let me just get over to a red. I knew that I wanted to help sell it, to help sell the image. I wanted to have these clouds like leaking on to my background, which right here, like you can see, I hadn't gotten there yet. The harsh cut doesn't look as nice as like, wow, these clouds are really like forming around this road that's just like floating. And this whole castles in the sky theme from the song that I wanted to kind of make happen. And this idea has been in my head for so long. I just didn't have the right stock photography or photography up in the clouds from like an airplane to do it. So it was really cool that I was able to get this off my chest and be like, hey, that image is out there, and it's from me and from my mind. And I think what's helping me rest a little bit easier about it is the fact that, half the image is me and half the image is AI, right? You're playing together there. So let me just click through these layers a little quicker, and then I'll show you guys a couple more. So here was another one I added in, right? So like I said, that theory of like castles in the sky, I wanted to seem like we were going to something, like there was something in the distance. And that first image that the AI gave me, it was all in one layer there. I didn't want this whole blankness, right? So then I had AI create me another sky, and I said, mountains and, I don't know, I can't remember the exact script that I used, but so I just kind of kept having it generate me some stuff until I had something centrally to help weigh down the photo, because I wanted something like that little box. We always point to triangles even when there's not a triangle, but this is kind of a triangle, right? There's a triangle here, there's a triangle there. Sure, triangle. So anyways, and again, and when I'm telling it to make me that image, I'm trying to have it make me that sun that was over there, right? You see in the other one, if I turn this layer off here, you see the sun's there, right? So it's a little off, but generally I just need the sun up there because I'm casting a shadow right here, right? So, you're just trying to keep that somewhat consistent to help sell the image, the composite. So then we got a couple light leaks, and then we add some smoke to further sell it. So, when I was sitting here on this right here and like all this over here, this was starting to look cool, but I needed more interaction. Sorry about that. I needed more interaction with the way the smoke was like tapering. So I started to add like very smoky. Now these aren't clouds. These are smoke layers. I'm adding like these smoke layers that are interacting with the ground, just to really seem like the clouds were hitting the road and then going in a different direction after they hit the road. I don't know, kind of nitpicky. I do think this still was looking cool, and I started to do it over here, and it still was looking pretty cool. But I wanted to take it to the next level and add, this like the smoke is changing direction because it's actually interacting with something. Um, this is just like some slight cleanup. You can see this is very subtle. I'll just zoom in here. My first cloud layer didn't have a glow from the clouds, so I put like a little glow haze on all the rim of the clouds. And I believe I did that for some other stuff. I think that's what these last couple layers are. Yeah. All right. We add more smoke in the distance. Like we're heading that way. This is the whole car cleanup, right? So I obviously, if you like zoomed in here, you'll see, tree lines and grass and whatever. There's some stuff here that has to get cleaned up. The sides, you see like the side there, you can see that we're, near a tree or something. I don't know, or near a horizon. So that all gets cleaned up. You can see I'm just clicking on and off while I'm zoomed in here. All above the license plate. Just trying to make those, like, we're up in the clouds, right? So generally the reflections in the car are going to be relatively smooth because you're reflecting clouds, white puff clouds and sky, so I had to smooth out a lot of stuff. I also didn't like I noticed it here. I didn't like how high the seat was. Like, look at the difference. I don't know. I just was like, it was super late at night and I was getting near the end of the image and I was like, why is that seat so much higher? Who the hell was sitting in that seat? And so I put it a little bit lower. Added some haze to the overall image, and that's it. And then we had this image here that has had a place in my mind for a very long time, and I wasn't able to execute it. But now AI helped me merge the two together, and I walked away with this image. So that is the Castles in the Sky edit. Now this is another cool one. I'm not going to go layer by layer. I'll show you like the before and afters, but this one was AI allowed me to do it. So basically we are out at a kind of some open land, and later on I wanted to see if AI could give me this insane storm, like this really like powerful bull scene, bull in the wild with this crazy storm in the background, and it gave me this like, I think I only ran like one render. I was like open field with huge tornado storm with dramatic storm clouds and a golden haze. That's literally something like that what I prompted in Midjourney, and it spit this image out, and I upscaled it, pulled it out, and I instantly was thinking of this Lamborghini shot with Kyle's car. And yeah, I think it works pretty good. Again, you're working with AI. You're creating these fantasy things. You're going over the top, right? Like, it's okay if it's not as believable. This is like concept art. It's like have fun with this. Yeah, so I came away with this image. Here's a basic image, and I did a lot of work into this one. Like, you can see all the layers here. If I increase a little bit, there's a ton of stuff here to get to even the normal image. That was the normal image. Then, I'll just kind of layer these on. You can see I'm starting to go for the darker look. Boom, I add the sky in. And if I click this off, you'll see the full image, right? But I click that off. I merge it into the grass, and I have it taper off. I think an interesting... I like to do little things like this. Is these were very important because they're in my original photo, and it gives me an opportunity. Even these sticks, it gives me an opportunity to really trick the viewer, right? Because if I was just going to make a straight horizon cut across it, everybody's going to be able to tell. But the moment there's these sticks that are going across from my image to the AI image to the horizon to the sky, now, people who are like looking at it as a composite and go like, holy crap, I don't know, like, that's cutting across the entire image. So it adds a little depth, it adds a little believing aspect to things in the foreground are also going over the background, which, I'm not deliberately adding things in, but hey, that was in my original image. That makes sense to be an open farmland, to have this like old broken fence. I'm going to keep that in here, and it kind of adds to the believability, I guess, is what I was going for. Add more darkness. I noticed that I cut off some of the barbed wire, so I add the barbed wire back right there. You can see it like popping up right here. Add a little bit of smoke now. I'm trying to add smoke and atmosphere coming from the tornado, essentially. I'll zoom into it. And when I zoom in, you can see the resolution and the detail really gets a little choppy. But, it'll, like I said, the technology will advance. So there's this, and then obviously that's too white, so we add goldness to that. I do it to the right side, it's too white, we add yellow and haze. Then we add overall haze cutting across the whole image. And I'm just going to click these ones on fast. You can see this little detail here, like the haze didn't hit this post. So let's have it hit the post. And some glow to the car. So yeah, that's another one. And let's go over to this one. Now, unfortunately, I saved over the file of this, so I can't really show before and after. Some of you that follow my work know that this car was just shot in the back of a warehouse, with just a blank building behind it, and that was pretty much it. But I can still go over what I added and what was AI. Obviously, the city on fire is AI, right? What I brought in was obviously the car, the embers that are all flying in the sky, right? All these embers, all this smoke, these embers, all these embers that are flying. I created the glow here. I put a nice hazy glow. I had a couple of fire on black layers that I just added. I can't remember where I added. Maybe a little bit like right here and like some back here, just to help add. I think I added this one there, just to help add a little bit more fire to the image. And then I took some of that and added in a glow. Right, I started with a glow there, and then I want to say that I like took a section out of here. I wish I had the file, because this one was kind of crazy. This was really stretching to balance the truth. But I want to say I took a clip of there, I copy and pasted it. Let me see if I can just like show you guys really quick. So I went like this, right? Copy paste, and then I brought it down and like warped it. I can't remember exactly what I did here, but I did something similar to this. I like warped it onto my car somehow. I'm so mad that I don't have this file. You guys don't understand. I did something of this nature. Now, this isn't going to look perfect, but I want to say I screened it. Yeah, you can see it lighten, right? Lighten. How does that look if I move it? Yeah. So I did like a lighten layer, and then like that doesn't cut it, right? I'm just kind of trying to show you quickly. But you need to lighten it, then you need to add levels to it, then you need to change the color a little bit of it, and I basically did that for portions of my car here, 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 and then I added a little bit of red here and here. Basically, I took the highlights, and my highlights were very like kind of cool and blue, and I said, hey, listen, if my light source is fire here, like the car's going to need to be a lot warmer than what it was. So then I did a bunch of color grading to the darks of the image. I added cyan to my darks. I added slight little reflections here, just because I needed to follow suit, because I'm getting a reflection of the building here, I'm getting a reflection of the fire here. I don't know, the AI spit out an image that it didn't really look wet, but hey, if I have reflections here and I have a reflection there, I sort of kind of need to add a reflection there, I guess. the hardest part of this entire image was obviously the shadow. When you'll see when you're doing a full-on composite and you're taking the car from one scene to another, you'll see that the shadow tends to be what you take the most time on. I shut the file off after a bit trying to get the shadow down, and then I turned it back on the next day, tried to attack it again, and I wasn't happy with it all the way up until the end. Then I was like, you know what, this actually I'm enjoying the way this looks now. I wasn't too worried about this like looking and tricking people to be super real. I was just trying to create like a poster here of a car that I really really love in the 488 GTP, in the GTP here. So um, after that, I wanted to show you guys some other ways. So the way it's really fun to work with product photography, right? Before we'd have to actually smash a cake. Now I can just say, give me an exploding cake, and then I can photograph the product and match the light. And I don't even have to match the light. I could just shoot my product, and then I can tell AI, give me a smashing cake, with it being lit camera left and studio photography setting, and here we go. I got this chocolate smashing cake, and I think I told it to do a wedding cake since my products have wedding cake, and then I stuck it in there, and you can see I added the little shadow here, little shadow there to make it really seem like it had the depth that was in there. But it's taking a product photography shot that was just going to be on black and kind of a little bit more fun. I got a couple more product ones here. This one was with the lemonade stand. It's pretty straightforward. You just got to basically plant your image and add a drop shadow. And here's another one, kind of similar, right? Could create me a pile of bullets sitting on a table in a studio setting, right? And it creates this pile of bullets, and then I just put the item in there. When the item first goes in there, it's like this, right? And then I'll spend some time with a pen tool, and I'll say, okay, I want him in front of this one, right? I want that one to go down here, and then in front of this bullet, right? I'm just gonna go fast now. I want him to go in front of that one, and then I'll select that out, right? I'll go something like that. I'll select it out. Select. I'll invert it, and then I'll delete. So since I inverted it, it's on the outside of the box here, which in this case, since I didn't add the selection, it would delete up here too. But you're basically going to go in and erase down here that it's bleeding onto, and then you'll be behind the bullet. And that's what I did there. So that was just a couple of AI images that I wanted to show you guys. And I know between us photographers and stuff, it's kind of there's a battle going on between, is it art, is it not? I try not to ask those types of questions and get stuck trying to be stubborn about, should we be doing that? Is that morally correct? Is that whatever? Like, just get in there, mess with it a little bit, just to say you did it at the very least. But this is how I've been kind of navigating through it, and I think that I'm enjoying it as far as blending the two mediums together. I don't think either of them will die. Obviously, AI is here to stay. It's pretty crazy. I don't think photography will die. Film didn't die when digital came out. There's a lot of things that this doesn't work for. Especially when you talk about portraits, fashion photography, even the automotive photography. Like, I spent a lot of time when I initially got Midjourney, and we can go in the folder. I spent a lot of time. Let's open it up. Let's go AI art. I spent a lot of time, most of my time on Midjourney, creating all automotive things. But where they're cool, yes, they're very cool, and some of them are pretty darn realistic looking. But I like to think that I'm very detailed. And when you get into the details of these AI images, there's a lot of issues. When you get into the resolution, there's a lot of issues. So the usability behind it is very minimal. Obviously, then you also get into the aspect of like you didn't do it right. It feels amazing. Like I've shot in a warehouse like this with a car, the SVJ. Like it's what a feeling to bring that whole shoot together. For real. It's definitely the better play. And I think anytime that you can actually get that real situation, it's a better play. But here are some of them that I just told AI to make, and obviously the logos get destroyed and whatever, but it's fun. But like I said, where I think I want to live with the space is combining it with photography, and I think that's where I'm gonna leave it right now. So yeah, I mean, appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole AI shift. I know it's kind of been out for a little bit of time, and I wanted it to kind of, before I did a video like this, I kind of wanted it to be out for a while, right? I wanted to get my hands on it because, like I said, initially I was just going crazy with all these car images, but then I didn't post any of them. I don't know. I just felt like disconnected. I don't know. I've like I said, I've enjoyed blending it with my photography more. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know where you stand on it, or let me know how you're utilizing it. Like I said, even if you are just doing this and telling it to create you things here, I think that's perfectly fine. Do whatever makes you happy, and let's art get out of your mind. I think the more art that's getting out of our mind will only inspire us and influence us in better ways rather than worse. So I don't think it's a bad thing. But yeah, so thank you guys for checking it out. I'm gonna be, I feel like I say this at the end of every video. I'm gonna be trying to get more videos out. I finally got my office set up in my new rig. I'm a camera away from being able to do live streaming with you guys. And yeah, also if any of you guys are looking for any one-on-one training or Zoom meetings, let me know. I am starting to sell hour sessions, or even longer than that. So just yeah, DM me and get in touch, and we can set something up and start looking over at your images, or really dialing in what's bothering you, or what you think is holding you back from going to the next level. So all right, guys, have a good one. Hope to see you on the next one. Thanks.